There are some events in history that don't just mark time, they literally fracture it. They create a clear before and an after. The attacks of September 11th, 2001 were one of those moments. The shock waves from that day are still shaping our world. To really get a handle on those impacts, we've got to go back to the beginning of what became a defining moment of the 21st century.
So it really all boils down to this one huge question. How did four hijacked planes on one single morning manage to change the world forever? How could that one event kick off decades of conflict and completely redefine what national security even means? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
Okay, let's set the scene. The day was September 2001, and it started out just like any other Tuesday. But before noon, that date would be burned into the collective memory of the entire planet, becoming synonymous with tragedy and terror.
So here's what happened. That morning, 19 terrorists took control of 4 commercial airplanes. Now, the scale and the coordination of this plot were just completely unprecedented. This wasn't a single isolated incident. It was a synchronized attack, turning regular passenger jets into guided weapons.
And these coordinated hijackings were designed as a series of devastating strikes. The targets weren't random, not at all. They were carefully picked because they were powerful symbols of American economic and military might. Let's walk through them. 2 of the planes slammed into the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers, right in the heart of New York City. A 3rd plane hit the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., which is, of course, the headquarters of the U.S. military. But the 4th plane, that's where the story changes a bit. On United Flight 93, passengers and crew found out what was happening and they fought back. Their heroic actions forced that plane down into a field in Pennsylvania, stopping it from hitting its intended target in Washington.
And this is the image that so many of us will never, ever forget. For millions of people watching it all happen live on TV, this was the moment the news became a stark, unbelievable reality. It just felt so immediate, so tangible.
But the collapse of the towers wasn't an ending. It was actually a beginning. The immediate aftermath of the attacks kicked off a brand new era of global conflict and policy. The human cost was just staggering, nearly 3,000 people. It was the deadliest terrorist attack in world history. And that number, it represents thousands of individual lives, thousands of stories, all cut short in a single morning.
In response, the United States declared what it called a global war on terror. And this was a massive shift in foreign policy. See, the enemy wasn't a traditional country with an army and borders. Instead, it was this scattered global network, starting with Al-Qaeda, the group that carried out the attacks. You can really see the chain of events here, right? The 9/11 attacks act as the catalyst. That immediately triggers the launch of the War on Terror, and that new doctrine, in turn, leads directly to major military interventions, first in Afghanistan, to go after al-Qaeda and the Taliban, and then the highly controversial invasion of Iraq.
I think the biggest takeaway is just how long the impact has lasted. The consequences of that one morning have echoed for decades, reshaping everything from how we go through airport security to the scope of government surveillance. And it's set in motion these long conflicts that, in many ways, are still playing out. So that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. Here we are, a whole generation later. How does the war on terror and everything that came with it continue to shape the world we're living in right now? Answering that isn't just about understanding the past. It's about figuring out how we navigate the future.